All right. We are live. Oh yeah, baby. Now, where did Rumble go? Is Rumble on? I think. Alright, I think I did, yeah, good. Set it up for Rumble, good and going. What's up, everybody? Good and going. What's up, everybody? Good and going. What's up, everybody? Going. Okay. How is everybody doing?
Pushing the tech sector to new.
I can't tell how many people are with us, but we are live on YouTube and Rumble. Good morning, everybody. Why is everything repeating, I hear? I still haven't quite figured out everything involved in... I still haven't figured everything out with all the settings in these programs. So somebody comment if there's any kind of repeating or any kind of stupid shit going on. Let me know in the comments. And yeah, so we are a little early. Still have 15 minutes before the market opens. Let's check out. This is funny. Look at the crypto heat map. I don't know about you, but excuse me, I'm about tired of watching crypto die. But if you weren't sure about it before, you should be sure now. We are definitely in a bear market. I don't know how that bodes for the 4-year cycle. Seems like there's plenty of speculation on it. Lots of people seem to think this, and a lot of people seem to think that. But nobody really knows. Especially any quote-unquote experts. There's no such thing as a crypto expert. It's such a new technology. I mean, you can be versed in it. You can know about it. But there's no such thing as an expert. A crypto expert. There's too many unknowns. There's too many bridges we haven't crossed yet, right? Anyway. All right. Looks like silver's taking a plunge. Anybody in here a silver collector? I used to buy and sell gold and silver and copper and precious metals. I haven't really been into it for the last 10 years. Because I got sick of watching it go sideways. But I have a silver prediction. That I will make if we hit our goal for the day. All right, let's see here. The biggest wiener for yesterday was, of course, NVIDIA. With their $5 trillion, almost $5 trillion market cap. That's unreal to me. What's even more unreal is Berkshire Hathaway's stock price. How many shares do you own at $747,000 a share or something like that? Absolutely ridiculous. Let's see what Bloomberg is doing. Oh yeah, by the way, we will be live again tonight for the State of the Union address.
See it next week. We will not see it next month. I think it's a theme that will play out over the next few years.
Missives for software coming from everywhere. The Citrini report yesterday spooked and payment stocks, laying out a feedback loop with no natural break. The authors noted that as AI got better and cheaper in this world that they're imagining, companies laid off workers, then used the savings to buy more AI capability, which let them lay off more workers, displaced workers, then spent less, and companies that sell things to consumers sold fewer to them, wekening,
Rumble
and
seems to
invested
wanna
more
cut
in
in
AI to protect margins. Let's bring
So
in
apparently
Investnet
y'all
Co-Chief
can hear
Investment Officer Dana
Bloomberg,
Dioria.
but I can't.
Dana, look, it was the report that
still
caught
haven't
Wall Street
set
by
up
storm yesterday.
everything
This
quite
idea
right.
of a
There we
negative
go.
feedback loop, where things like central bank policy don't fix it, where spending and AI leads to more people being fired, leads to better margins, leads to more spending and more people being fired. I wonder to you, this world that the report laid out, how realistic does it seem to you?
I think it's a scenario. I mean, certainly it sort of paints a picture that we're all standing on the precipice today of it.
If you're watching on Rumble, I apologize. I don't know why it keeps doing what it's doing. But I'm still here. It seems like YouTube is a little more reliable. Could be my connection, but I'm not entirely sure.
That Citrini report, you're thinking that the entire economy.
All right, let's see what CNBC.
क्या हुआ? ट्रेडिंग अकाउंट में पैसे डालने हैं। ओटीपी आ गया।
No, not letting commercials play. We'll see Yahoo's
on Yahoo Finance this morning ahead of the opening trade. Stock is up about 3%. And what exactly drove this slight increase, despite Wall Street expecting that decrease, was higher ticket size, but we did see a drop off in.
Y'all, if I have to run out of the room, I got the bubble guts this morning. If I leave, if you come and you see nobody right here, I will be back.
And ongoing consumer uncertainty and pressure in housing. He said additionally, storm activity in January provided a sales benefit in the quarter. And so everyone was running out to get perhaps salt for their driveways. And we've seen these major winter storms in January and this week as well. That impacted Home Depot as well. But this has been an ongoing struggle for Home Depot executives to really navigate this environment where we have seen a sluggish housing market. We know that existing home sales fell 8.4% in January compared to December. And executives really doing everything they can to get consumers back in the door, offering pickup and convenience, and trying to double down on value as well.
I mean, Home Depot sort of leaned into the professional customers, right? So that's helped it.
And that makes up about 50% of their business. But now you kind of have Lowe's on their heels, who has also invested within the pro business as well. But they're saying within their call that that pro business has really allowed the company to evolve in recent years. They also went on to say that, you know, they acquired, they have an acquisition of, I believe, SRS recently to really lean more into the pro business than what they were before.
All right. And Lowe's reports tomorrow morning.
Yep, you got it.
So we'll see what they have to say. Thanks so much, Brooke. Appreciate it. Well, Yahoo Finance is partnering with Coinbase to expand coverage of the crypto market. Our executive editor, Brian Stasi, is joining me now. He's got more on this partnership. Tell me about it, Stas.
Julie, yeah, another big moment in the long storied history of Yahoo Finance. Like you mentioned there at the top, Yahoo Finance will integrate Coinbase's real-time crypto market data. Also introduce some Trade Now buttons onto the platform that links to Coinbase's to 360 crypto tickers and 600 plus equities, Julie. Just wow, just another big moment for our platform. So excited to bring this partnership to life. Comes on the heels
I'm not sure what's
of our
going on
launch
with
of our
Rumble.
prediction
If
market
you can
hub
see
with
it
Poly
on
Market. I
Rumble, if
start
you're on
every
Rumble,
single
comment in the
trading day,
chat,
Julie,
because
looking at
every
that
time I
hub. That
try
is
and
my
pull it
go-to
up, it just
destination.
sits
I
there
love
and
that. Love all the
spins.
new
I know I'm
AI we're putting on the
transmitting.
platform. All this, Julie, just making us better at what we do and making investors better at what they do.
And this is the first time
But I
people can
see
actually trade through the platform, right?
More details to come, Julie, but this partnership will come in addition to a
why
crypto
a
hub,
Bitcoin
which I
chart is
teased
showing. I'm
at
not
Yahoo
casting
Finance
a
Invest
Bitcoin
back in
chart.
November. So we're just getting started in the space, Julie.
All right, cool stuff. Thanks, Saz. Appreciate it. That does it for Morning Brief. Saz taking a little breather today, and Brooke DePalma is going to be helming opening bid. That is coming up next.
All right, 8 minutes until the opening bell. I think I want to see Bloomberg.
Again, back to are these companies able to actually withstand these pressures, use AI to their own benefit in the case, to the extent that this really is disruptive in the immediate term? And so I can't say no, that wouldn't happen, but I don't think there's immediate evidence that that's going to happen, because I think, again, the structure being was what it is, and where retail investors are going to see this first and foremost is on the equity side, and they obviously are. But what you're seeing happening to these PE companies, the prices of these publicly traded PE companies, which have just cratered in the last few days, does suggest some concern that debt they're holding, private credit debt, for example, on some of these, and a lot of it is software focused, or at least to a certain extent software focused, that is where the concern is coming from. The market is definitely suggesting to a certain extent that there could be a follow-on problem.
That's right. I mean, the private equity companies that back these software as a service firms have to be wiped out before the private credit companies that lent them money are affected. Dana, great having you on. We're going to keep you with us. Investment Co-Chief Investment Officer Dana Dioria. Coming up, more on the AI outlook with Samba Nova CEO Rodrigo Lang. We'll talk to him about his tie-up with Intel. This is Bloomberg Open Interest.
Trading day is about to start.
And you're already looking for that edge.
The opening trade brings you everything you need to know as markets open across Europe.
Let's talk about the significant risk transfers to find space in their balance sheet.
Let's see what some of that risk. You could look at it the other way. Obviously, this stuff is risk-weighted.
I would much rather be...
Let's see what Bitcoin is doing. Yeah, Bitcoin is sucking it. Just keeps on coming down, baby. I mean, look at this. This is just nuts to me. In the last year. Ouch. Yeah, that's a stupid ass looking shit. Yeah, that is the life of Bitcoin. I think everything, every candle's a year. I don't know. Well, I just completely screwed that up. And 5-minute candles. Since about midnight last night. That'll work. Yep, silver's trying to make a little bit of a recovery. Not sure what it's going to do. But it seems like a good time to short Bitcoin. Look at all those signals. Now, keep in mind as we're going through our stuff in here, like I can pull up the entire market cap of crypto, and you'll still see these short and long entry points. These don't apply to everything that I pull up, but it will be on everything I pull up because I don't want to turn off the indicator. But yeah, those are trading signals in case you didn't know. Let's see what CNBC is saying.
To reset the trade discussion on their terms.
Yeah, I saw that. I do think that
I will be live again tonight for the State of the Union address. we're going to have some bingo going on.
It's got inflation down. You can take, well, I mean, in the future, because one of the reasons inflation is because the tariffs might go away. I don't think the American people understand tariffs, and they don't understand tariffs because how can something be 10% on a Saturday and 15% on a Sunday? We're not seeing that kind of thing. David, the policies have been erratic, quoting the Wall Street Journal, and erratic is not something that appeals to the American people.
No, it also makes it difficult to make longer-term decisions when you're running a business, which we've talked about in terms of capital allocation. We've talked about it a lot. It hasn't stopped businesses at all in many ways from doing things they need to do near term, but it does sort of raise that question around.
Okay, Bloomberg.
And I think it has the potential to help us rethink literally everything. The potential for economic impact, societal benefit is honestly boundless. When we think about the economic impact for Europe in particular, it's around a 1.2 trillion euro estimate of the productivity growth that can be unlocked. This platform shift that we are living through, I think, is going to create untold amounts of value for the world, but also for businesses and for economies, which is why I'm incredibly optimistic in this moment for Europe, but also for the whole world.
How do you think about job losses or safety for some of the AI tools?
Market opening in 2 minutes.
And I understand the anxiety about jobs. I think that we are certainly going to live through a massive transition about how people learn to work alongside these tools. I mean, the reality is I do think there'll be some number of jobs that are displaced. I think it is a smaller number maybe than some anticipate. We estimate it's around 7%. And I think what's important is that we have programs that help those 7% transition into new fields of work. I think what is more likely is that most of us are going to learn to work alongside.
The crypto heat
so
map just looks like
when you think about the tasks you do in your daily life, when you look at every industry, there are administrative tasks.
You got some interstellar going on
here. And that's what AI
here.
is most helpful in improving.
Yikes. NVIDIA.
We're at the epicenter of a global realignment on a scale not seen for decades. At the intersection between markets, economics and geopolitics, a forum for sophisticated conversation. This is Bloomberg Surveillance.
Bringing you up-to-the-minute geopolitical news whenever and...
Oh yeah, by the way, to let you know, at the bottom of all of my charts, this is RSI. Some people use a different indicator for down here, but I use RSI. Because this indicator right here, when this number is between 50 and 70, it typically means it's a good time to buy or buy long. But when it goes over 70 for a minute, you can expect it's going to crash very soon. And once it gets really high, it'll come down. I prefer using RSI over any of those other little things people put down here. Anyway, let's go back to Bloomberg.
China jacket on. Then you go down to the NASDAQ.
All
We have
right.
ASP Isotopes ringing the opening bell. So not a lot of action in terms of bell ringers, but we do have a lot of action in terms of the market because we had so much momentum in futures heading up to this moment, and now it's dropped away.
It's true. I mean, there's just a lot of anxiety in this market right now. I think that's maybe even an understatement of the things that sell off. But we do have a gain this morning, a rebound. AMD having a multi-billion-dollar partnership with Meta. They're going to use it to help build their 6-gigawatt factory. So AMD shares go up 7.9%. IBM, a rebound, but I mean, Matt, like, what's 1.4% after it sees its worst drop in 25 years yesterday, all because of a new tool that Anthropic released. I mean, it is every day what is going to get hit by some AI fear, and the hits are deep and hard.
Yeah, it seems like Anthropic is killing stocks a few times
NVIDIA
a week. And by the way, Anthropic right now is holding a conference, a presentation on its COBOL tool. That's the one that investors worried yesterday could kill IBM. So we're going to get headlines across from Anthropic, as a lot of people on the street will be paying attention to the call. Home Depot reported strong earnings on a steady demand for housing supplies, and that's why the shares are up 3%. But the company gave a cautionary outlook similar to Walmart, highlighting the challenging macroeconomic environment. And if you read that Citrini research piece, you kind of got spooked on the mortgage picture
NVIDIA
as well.
taking
Speaking
a dump.
of economics, let's get over to Washington,
So much for
D.C.
my
right
calls.
now, where Bloomberg's Michael McKee is sitting down with a special guest. He's got the president
look at
of the
NVIDIA
Chicago
plow.
Fed with him, and he'll, I'm sure, be
stop at the
asking
189?
Austin Goolsbee
Damn.
about all of the AI fear in these markets. Let's hand it over to Mike.
Yikes.
Well, thank you very much, and we'd like to welcome all our viewers and listeners around the world to Bloomberg Radio and Television, and we'd like
CNBC.
As people figure out, well, maybe
if
it's
anybody's
not as
talking
good
about
for Intuit.
NVIDIA.
And Anthropic seems to get the better.
Yeah, Anthropic. We all know Anthropic. Yeah.
And you can see it's still down 11, 12%. By the way, yesterday was the worst day for IBM since the year 2000, and this coincided. So this wasn't a result of the Citrini report, although I think that had spillover effect. There were some comments by the cloud Anthropic founder about basically the structure of the ATMs and how they use COBOL as part of their programming. IBM happens to run a lot of the mainframes that run these ATMs. And by the way, COBOL is an ancient language. I remember taking classes in the mid-90s and professors talking about it. I thought that was old then, but it's still around. The notion that an AI agent, an LLM, can generate code, and then it's going to be adopted
Bitcoin
immediately and then
dump.
put on the cloud, and it's
NVIDIA,
going to displace
bro.
these IBM
Ouch.
servers. It's just kind of ridiculous because that's going to take years to
Look
play
at
out.
that.
There's tons of
NVIDIA's
regulatory
dying right about
risk
now.
with a lot of these companies, and so this actually ties into the Citrini
The hell
report
is
too,
that?
why I think it was a bit overblown.
Pull up Apple again.
It takes too much time for these things to happen. I think slow adoption with AI is a good thing. I mean, if companies were to replace ServiceNow or SAP, and I'm just using those as arbitrary targets, you replace your entire human resources platform with something that was generated in-house in a few weeks. That's just not going to happen because there's too much liability
Apple
there.
ain't
So
gonna run.
I think AI adoption
Looks
going
like everybody's
slow is
getting out of
actually a
NVIDIA
good
and
thing
dumping
for
it straight
humanity.
into Apple.
We're incredibly
Apple's doing like the
resilient
exact
as a
opposite
species.
of what NVIDIA is
But
doing. Amazing.
there are limits to this, and I think this thought experiment
If you have
really
some Apple
pushed the
calls,
limits, and I think
you're
things
loving
got a
life
little bit
right about now.
overdone. And
But
if we're
if you
still in
have
the interactive
NVIDIA
here, I'll
calls,
just give you a one-year
you're
view.
sucking.
So this takes IBM. It's basically been trending sideways here, but let's give a max chart because IBM broke out a few years ago around the early pandemic, and it's had a really nice run. And so this is just kind of a backtrack. A lot of stocks in software are looking like this, that over the short term, they look extremely depressed, and IBM isn't even a pure play software company. But they're holding their long-term trend lines, a lot of them that have been around for a while. And I agree with Tom, is that things have gotten
Seems like
irrationally
people
bearish,
only want
and
to
I
send me
think,
messages
a little bit
while I'm
overblown
live.
at this point. So sentiment and time will wash these things out and we'll find a bottom, but that could take a little bit more time. People have to grow impatient.
It's been so interesting to watch sort of this acronym emerge.
Nobody's talking about that. Are
this
you
fear of
kidding
being
me?
obsolete.
Let's see. Let's go back to Bloomberg.
We need to see. We should see.
We should pull up NVIDIA.
Even though Netflix chose to allow for that waiver instead of perhaps trying to increase its own deal to acquire the company,
See if I can find something.
It doesn't mean that it won't choose to do that now if, in fact, Warner Brothers says, hey, you know what, we do think this could lead to a superior proposal. It's always possible Netflix will say, fine, we'll raise, or we'll do this, or we'll do that. We'll deal with that debt adjustment mechanism for the spun-off entity, for example.
See, earnings are
so
coming
we'll
up.
see. I'll have reporting
Why
on
are
this
they
hopefully
sucking it?
fairly soon. I do think the board of
Somebody got
Warner
some
Brothers is
bad
meeting
news out
today
there?
to go over this. And so it's going to be near term in terms of learning the next step here on this deal, guys.
I thought it was fascinating. I didn't see that this would be coming. It's just a great deal. Keep following.
Yeah,
The
no,
other one is really
we're going to keep following. It's one of the great battles. Yeah.
Shares of AMD going up this morning. They were up 22 at one point, still up 15. Chip makers expanding its partnership with Meta.
Let's
They
pull
are
up AMD,
long-standing
shall
partners. Announcing a chip deal to deploy 6 gigawatts, don't worry, we're going to this, of computing power for Meta's AI data centers. And joining us now exclusively, I'm so thrilled that she's here, AMD Chair and CEO Lisa Su, and a guest of the show. Lisa, first, I'm just going to offer you congratulations. This is a terrific deal, and I know that these kinds of things could never have happened without your hard work and the turn that you have engendered.
That's a hell of a jump.
Well, first of all, Jim, great to be here.
between.
Thank you.
AMD's
It's a
doing
big
well.
day for AMD. We are super excited about this partnership, the expansion of
Yeah,
our
you
partnership
see the RSI down
with
here?
Meta, and it really
It's above
is
80.
another example.
You're about to
of
have a little
how,
crash.
Like, the industry is investing big
It's gonna
in AI
come down.
infrastructure
Watch.
right now, and this is all about
RSI
having
is
the right
probably your best
technologies
indicator
and the
for
right
what's about to
partners,
happen.
together building this, AI of the future.
I know you and Mark Zuckerberg talk a great deal. What do you
Gonna
think the
take a
game plan
dive.
is for your
You see the RSI on
the
NVIDIA?
super intelligence
Down below
that we
20,
keep hearing, and what
and
does
it
it
is
mean for the
sucking it.
consumer? What does it
Yikes.
mean for Meta? What does it mean for you?
Wow.
Well, I think this is absolutely,
I mean, that's
first of all,
only a $5
Mark
drop.
is a
know,
great
what,
partner,
2.5%, 3%?
incredibly ambitious in what he wants to accomplish
AMD,
in
man.
the AI world. And this is about super intelligence. This is about bringing
AMD's
all of the
up like
capabilities
5,
of
6%.
AI to
Yeah,
all
6.5%.
applications around the world.
NVIDIA's
And frankly, we want to
down
make it
2%.
it's AI
Apple's up
everywhere for
almost
everyone.
2%.
That's our motto. And I think we very much share that
Looks
with
like a
Meta.
mixed
And
bag.
what we're doing here is really helping
But our
them build
typical
out their
winners
infrastructure.
look
We're
like
taking
they're
our
sucking it.
technology and really optimizing it for Meta's
Silver
most
took a
important
dive
AI
earlier,
workloads.
but looks
And
like
we're doing
Silver's
this over the
trying to
next
work
5
its way
years over
back up.
multiple
I
generations,
have
and so
a
it
prediction
allows
for
us
Silver.
to keep building upon that flywheel and getting a great products and great set of capabilities.
Yeah,
at
welcome
the
to the
end.
chat, Adam
Okay,
Walters
so
and Turtle.
NVIDIA has a deal. They just they report tomorrow. We'll probably find out more details, but it's a big deal. Billions of dollars. We know that not that long ago, Corning
I'm also
announced
live on
a
Rumble, I
very big
think.
deal. Neither of those deals involved
Rumble's not cooperating
Meta
with me.
taking a share
my viewer,
in
but
them.
it
Why
says it's
is
on
Meta
there.
taking a share in you?
So, Silver
Well,
looks like
here's
it's
the
trying to
thing
make a good
that's
recovery.
important about AI
Look
infrastructure.
at the crypto
Jim.
heat
We are
map.
at a
It's
time
joke.
and a place where the industry is moving so fast, and it.
The crypto heat map is hilarious. Looks like something out of Interstellar. Again, looks like a mixed bag for the day. AMD up 6.6% so far. NVIDIA sucking it. Looks like it's making a small recovery, though. I wonder why. Earnings are today, aren't they? Or tomorrow? I think the earnings are tomorrow. Apple's killing it this morning. Let's go back to CNBC. Somebody's got to be talking
we're
about
optimizing
NVIDIA. What the
specifically
hell's going
for
on?
the most important AI workloads going forward. So I view this as really tying the company strategically. And when you think about, there are very few companies that can actually invest at the scale that we're talking about. It's a great partnership.
Lisa, I wanted to follow up on that particular
Are they
area.
saying maybe we don't need to hire as many people because we're getting this job done? We're keeping, up
Yes.
with orders.
Silver could get a nice bump.
I mean, the
when shit pops
economy
off
is
in Iran.
extremely
Can't
diverse.
wait.
And
Has anybody else seen those memes? Is there videos of the bombers flying? And they took the Beach Boys Barbara Ann song. That bomb, 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 Iran. Bomb, 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 Iran. Yeah, it cracks me up every time I see it. I think I shared it like 1 billion
The
times.
cynics would say, well, you have to because otherwise they're not going to buy
Yeah.
your chips. How do you respond to that?
Oh, David,
It is a mixed
I
bag.
would take a step back and say, look, we are sizing this AI accelerator market.
Wish you could say the same thing about the crypto heat
over
map.
The next 5 years.
Christ.
It's a huge, huge market. And we're
But it does look
actually
like
at an
Bitcoin-
inflection point
it does look like Bitcoin's
where,
making a little bit of a
I'm a big
recovery.
believer in there's no one size fits all. Frankly, you need a lot of different types
I don't
of
think it's gonna
compute.
do it any good.
AMD has all of the pieces. So we have CPUs, GPUs, we have the system infrastructure.
AMD
And what
up
we want to do is
5%.
place bets
It's come down
on
from that
who
initial
we think are
6
going
or
to be the
7.
winners in AI innovation going
NVIDIA's
forward.
trying to make a
This is
recovery.
about strategic partnership. I think
Somebody must have got some
everything that
bad
we
news
do
somewhere.
when we look at the
They're
structures of
expected to
this
beat the
is
hell out of
to ensure
earnings.
that it's a win-win. So everything is performance-based. There's a tremendous amount of revenue coming into AMD. Every gigawatt of compute is, double-digit billions of revenue to us. And then when you think about all of the ecosystem value in terms of increasing, and improving our hardware ecosystem, our software ecosystem, and it really accrues to every customer that uses AMD. So it.
Yeah, most of this action is probably because they won't shut up about it in the news.
growth can overheat the economy just in the near term.
So who's going to be watching me live for the State of the Union? It ought to be entertaining. We're going to play bingo and see if we can guess what color tie Trump's going to be wearing. how many times he mentions Biden, whose hands he doesn't shake as he comes down the aisle. I'm guessing members of the Supreme Court. Every time those songs play,
we have put out
YouTube wants to take a nickel from me.
Very ambitious plan, a very ambitious financial model, and what this is it really is clearly an opportunity to expand beyond what a regular commercial deal would have been.
Yeah,
I think,
real
nice.
These
are special.
Give me my cash!
It's one of the most transformational deals for us as a company. We have a lot of other partnerships that are also extremely
NVIDIA
beneficial,
recover what it's lost
and we will
so far?
continue to expand the overall AI capabilities that we have. But when you look at these opportunities, they're really like once in a generation opportunities to completely tie our roadmap to one of the leaders in the market.
I couldn't be more, because you don't want them to walk away. You've got to make a long-term relationship. You already have that. But this means to me that tomorrow they're not going to say, you know what, it was really great to meet you, but we just NVIDIA, Jensen Huang just came up with this, and we got to say goodbye. But on the conference call, Vivek Arya, I know you respect him. He's Bank of America.
Let's go down to some more realistic figures.
You're giving away $30 billion roughly of value in your stock, and in return you're getting about $30 billion to $35 billion
all
of
US
net income.
It
seems like an even swap. Intelligent question. What's the answer?
Let's do
the answer, Jim, is clearly it's much bigger than that, and we have the opportunity to align our roadmaps over multiple generations. And when I go back to this is a $1 trillion market.
Keysight Technologies, huh? Electronic design and test solutions. Okay. The clear winner of the day here. Jesus Christ. $244. Where's the candle? Well, it's way up here. Damn, bro. Up 18% this morning. Well, if you were holding any of them, congratulations. Man, I wish I had bought some calls for that. It's coming down. I don't know. That RSI is still at about 60. They're not in overheated territory quite yet. Yeah. Do what you got to do. Thanks for coming. I appreciate everybody watching. I don't even know why I keep going back to the crypto heat map. It's not going to explode anytime soon. Google down 1.5%, almost 1%. Microsoft is up a little bit. They were sucking it yesterday. IBM's up. That's because they were down so bad yesterday. Adobe, Intuit. Yeah, Intuit's up because it's tax season. QCom's always a good buy. Looks like silver's still coming back up. Still on a short signal though. See the RSI? The purple is like the current, and then the yellow is the average. So the current is pulling the average up, but it's not too high yet, so it could continue this run. But once that purple reaches into the over 60, closer to the 70 mark, it's overheating, and it will come back down. AMD killing it today. Let's see if anybody's talking about NVIDIA, because, ouch. Looks like they're making a little bit of a recovery.
GPU optimized for their workloads. We can do that faster and better because of the power of AI. But the fundamental technology has to be put together overall. We have to create and invent it, and then AI can help us make it faster, more efficient, more productive, more cost-effective.
How long do you think we need to create and invent it before it can do it itself?
We are nowhere close to its inventing itself, Carl. I can tell you that. At the end of the day, there's a lot of secret sauce that you have to do for the first time, and then you have the opportunity to make it more capable going forward.
Lisa, you talk about Meta being a leader here. I'm just curious as to how you see that company evolving. we've talked a lot about the fact that it doesn't have a cloud business, for example, yet is spending the same amount in CapEx and is clearly already seeing a return on its ad business.
AMD.
I know a lot of this is for them to say,
today.
but I am curious as their partner how you see their business evolving.
Ford doing all right,
Well,
it looks like.
Again, I would say that
Check out IBM.
Meta and Mark have one of the most ambitious visions for how they see AI evolving over time. I think they are big believers in investment in the AI infrastructure. I think we are there to enable it. But
It
they're
looks
also
better than it
making
is,
bets
though.
of their own. And I view our
Still,
partnership
that's-
as one of those
that's a
big
good
bets
pop
that they're
this
making.
morning.
So this is
Do you
really
have
an
any
opportunity.
Ford
We're still
calls?
so early in the cycle, David, that I think people are placing their bets on where they think they're going to see the most return on investment.
Disregard
and I have
that
a lot of
long
confidence
entry.
in Mark and what Meta's doing
See the RSI coming
really
back
see
down?
that return at the end of the cycle.
When you
gonna
say we're
die,
so early in
honky.
the cycle, can you just put that in some perspective for our viewers?
Well, we're talking, and we were just talking with Carl about the fact that AI is getting so good it could replace us all. Sitting on the inside, AI is good, but it is not like anywhere near its maturity in terms of capability. We're still learning a lot about how the technology works. We're learning a lot about how to train the technology. We're learning a lot about how to use the technology. And so when I say we're early in the cycle, we're early in the cycle of seeing what the ultimate payoff can be. And that's where, from us in the industry standpoint, we have to invest ahead of the curve and really point in the direction that we think is going to have the largest benefit. So that's exactly what we're doing. I mean, we're investing for a 5+ year cycle and a 5+ year roadmap because we see that there's a lot of benefit to having more efficient, more capable infrastructure to unlock the power of AI.
Lisa, when I listen to you, I'm conscious of the fact that we will not all be replaced at the same time. Fantastic work. Lisa Su is the chairman and CEO of AMD. And once again, for those who know the company, this is the greatest remarkable transformation I've ever seen. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa.
As we go to break, watch bonds today. 10-year flirting with a 3 handle. Again, just a few bips above it this morning. Tons of Fed speak this morning. By the way, Waller's on the tape right now. Jim saying I'm not a doom and gloomer about AI and that it's not going to replace all humans.
Well, there you go. You've got to put out a press
I feel
release.
better now.
Yes,
Now,
exactly.
do you think he'll address the State of the Union, or say they'll look at the Supreme Court and say those right. 6 I can replace in a nanosecond with a, I don't know, with a Meta-inspired
Yeah, we
AMD
could have
chip?
all 9 seats. Some could be Anthropic, some could be OpenAI, some could be Grok.
Give me a dissent now and then.
Gorsuch, 386 chip,
I
right?
like it. I like
Gorsuch,
it.
like
Sure.
that. Give me the catalog. I love the catalog.
Meantime, nice gains here at the open. Dow's up 380. Stay with us.
You want to talk business? Meet me in the onboard lounge.
Within an enterprise to help you go between all of the software you already have, the Microsoft, the PowerPoints, the Excels, or at some point, do you no longer need these software offerings either? That's the question mark that many investors are trying to do right now.
And I think it's such an important one. And there's this great irony, too. By the way, I was listening to the presentation. They didn't even need to talk about partnerships. They were like, oh, Spotify did something, and it really made their employees more efficient. And then Spotify is up like a rocket. It's crazy how sensitive it is. But Caroline, is there a sense that the very companies who are at risk of being disrupted are the ones that are throwing Anthropic money, that they're kind of funding their own demise?
Do you mean more the ones like the Amazons and the companies? They're the ones that are giving the chunk of change to Anthropic. It's more these partnerships that are being struck.
Yeah, I was going to say Intuit feels like a perfect poster child where AI could easily disrupt a lot of what they do, yet they're giving them money, and it's a complete...
Are they giving them money? I say the question
True, I
mark
guess
is
they're-
whether they're giving them access.
Okay.
Giving them their customer
Well, because
base.
I was saying this to Matt, if all of a sudden Intuit, and I know this is so heady and impossible to answer, but if Intuit, let's say they are a customer, and then Claude replaces them, then who's the customer for Claude? What happens to the business model if they do start to disrupt all these software companies that had been partnering with them to begin with?
I think you're basically doing the work of all the financial analysts out there at the moment. And I might add that there's also a plugin for equity research that's being announced today. Look, this is the great question mark at the moment, and why Citrini research yesterday upended so many parts of the market, why everyone's trying to understand whether AI doom is AI gloom, or whether or not actually AI does give us the productivity that we need, and companies can rework themselves from within, can partner from within, and can make themselves deeply relevant. How important is CRM? How important is Salesforce, and the fact that it's already got a lock-in with its customers? And are you therefore just going to use Claude and Anthropic to interweave with the platforms that you already have? Or at some point you're going to say, look, I could potentially build this software myself. Just the threat of that might mean that these companies are going to have to rework what their pricing is.
Right.
And then what does that mean for the future revenue flows of these businesses?
That's a great point. It's only the threat that's needed, right? It's only a few people that have to believe this in order to give the customer more bargaining power with, say, a Salesforce.
Or ruin the credit of these companies because they start selling off, and then the cost of capital gets more expensive, which is the point Irini made.
But one of the many questions that I have on this is AI really far enough along? Is the technology that advanced that it could be used to make a Salesforce clone that would work without bugs and be useful to a, small or medium-sized company?
Well, I think this is why we're suddenly hearing from Dario Amodei with the adolescence of technology in his piece that he wrote in January, why you're getting Matt Schumer's piece being so well read about there's something big happening. People are suddenly thinking that the general curve at which generative AI was improving has suddenly spiked. It's basically gone vertical, is what many people are trying to say.
The hype has gone vertical for sure.
It certainly has, and the volatility in the market has gone vertical on the back of it. How much have we started to see agentic AI actually really work? How much we managed to get rid of some of the details that were made up in the past? The idea that these generally you couldn't depend, that you spent about half the time working and productivity gains, you spent again reworking the work that you were given. Claude is now today, and Anthropic more broadly, are trying to say this is now dependable. And you can intertwine us within your enterprise, and it's a good decision for your business. We'll see whether they can sign more clients.
And we'll see what other names they name drop and what the reaction of the stock will be. Caroline, gosh, what a great show it's going to be today, as it is every day. Bloomberg Tech, 11 a.m., which, of course, Caroline co-anchors. Coming up in the next hour, speaking of AI, Samba Nova CEO Rodrigo Leong discusses his company's collaboration with Intel. Stay with us for that. That will happen at 10:15 a.m. New York time. You are watching Open Interest.
Bringing you up-to-the-minute political news whenever and wherever it happens. I'm Tyler Kendall in Washington, and this is Bloomberg.
Key investors, top executives, global innovators. Join me for in-depth conversations with the biggest newsmakers on the day's top stories. Insight with Haslinda Ahmed, only on Bloomberg.
Welcome to Bloomberg This Weekend. I'm David Burr.
I'm Lisa Mateo. And I'm Christina Ruffini. We're tracking breaking news today from Wall Street to Washington. Let's start overseas. The sector is really propelling this deal forward.
Yeah, the hope is this will open up new markets and provide some additional liquidity.
Of course, now they're going to have competitors. We got a big week coming up in politics.
Earnings season is underway. We're going to get some key reports.
Everything you need to know before the markets open on Monday.
Introducing Bloomberg This Weekend, bringing a little Bloomberg into your weekend routine.
Guys, buckle up.
It's a multi-trillion-dollar industry. We'll show you what's happening in FIQ, only on Bloomberg.
Oh, yeah, baby. Ford.
We are indeed
still
getting a
holding
rebound from yesterday's sell-off. You can see the S&P here up 0.2%, the NASDAQ up 0.5%. Coming up in the next hour, Goldman Sachs' Catherine Bordelmay joins us on her bullishness in the industrial sector. Obviously, we're going to ask her about software and tech as well. And then we're going to hone in on AI with Sambanova CEO. Rodrigo Lang joins us, as well as the Baker Hughes CEO on oil. This is Bloomberg Open Interest.
They charge me a nickel almost every time they play that damn song.
Well,
CNBC.
That's the holiday of it.
Looks like they're on commercial. Maybe they went for a smoke break. Let's see what Yahoo's saying. There's another nickel. Bloomberg with that damn song again. Nvidia took a drop. I don't know why. They're expected to beat earnings. I wonder why. Nobody's talking about it in the news. Unless I'm just missing it every time I turn around. Damn songs. Silver trying to make a recovery. We've got some good things in store for silver. Boy, let me tell you. I got a prediction for you. It's a good one. AMD killing it this morning. They ran up, took a little dip, and they're trying to go back up again. It looks like people are leaving in Nvidia for AMD. Very strange. Apple killing it. Ford killing it. IBM, I think that still counts as a sucking it. The clear winner of the day is Keysight Technologies. Congratulations if you had any of that. Yep, almost 20%. ServiceNow. Keurig Dr. Pepper. I was hearing about them in the news. They were talking about them on Bloomberg earlier. Nice. Why is it that these winners of the day have such similar looking charts? Interesting. Everybody's got a little hook going. Apple's got a Loch Ness Monster. Let's take a look at Bitcoin, shall we? We all know it looks like hell. The crypto space has just wrecked me. That's okay, but that doesn't mean anything. $1,000 run up after a $1,000 drop. I'm not going to be impressed by anything crypto does until it gets back up into the 80s. I mean, we are in a bear market. So, despite what you want, the evidence speaks for itself. We are back in a bear market. Look at the heat map. Look at all of the crypto space. It's dead for now. It will recover. Got a mixed bag. Finance sector looks retail trades doing fine. Manufacturing's doing fine. Consumer services in the consumer nation will always do fine. Tesla looks like it's performing as well. But Keurig Dr. Pepper, I wonder what they just did recently that caused this. Anybody have any ideas? Drop it in the chat. I'd love to hear your opinions. Let's go back to Bloomberg, see what Bloomberg's saying.
She may already be gone. She may have already gone home to the Lord that she loves and is dancing in heaven.
Yeah, sure. CNBC.
Is it going to be used according to our interest? Is AI going to behave according to the instructions we give it? Unfortunately,
let's go back to Yahoo.
The S&P 500 is barely in the green at this point, and the Nasdaq Composite is
Apple
up about
and IBM
0.2%. We did just get U.S. February consumer confidence from the conference board, coming in a little bit better than estimated at 91.2. The estimate was for 87.1. Let's put this in context. It represents quite a rebound from the January numbers, which came in with a big drop in confidence. So I'll dig into those numbers, and we're going to have someone on, an economist from the conference board, in just a few moments. Digging under the hood of the market here, especially as we see the S&P 500 going to little changed here, financials are down the most today. And Bloomberg just summarizing a new Harvard study that looks at how much of active fund managers and what they do is replicable by AI. And that study found about 70% or so, but it's the sort of edge that the 30% or so of those active fund managers have that differentiate them in any environment, even in an AI environment.
Bitcoin's doing all right.
Interesting
for the
study,
day.
maybe lends to some of the negative vibes
I'm not going to be
around
impressed by anything
almost anything
Bitcoin
that
does
is seen
till
as
it gets
being
above
disrupted
80,000.
potentially by AI. So,
But being that we are in a bear market, it's official, guys. Don't be a fool and think, no, that's wishful thinking. We are definitely in a bear market. Decline. Yes, I know. Silver trying to make a little recovery. I mean, overall, it's a mixed bag of the day. The clear winner is AMD. The clear loser, well, it's not a loser. But NVIDIA's trying to come back. Apple just killing it this morning. Congratulations if you've got any Apple or Ford. Look at Ford. Or IBM. Well, yeah, if you bought it today, then you're doing okay. But if you bought it a few days ago. Keurig Dr. Pepper. This one's interesting. So let's go back to Bloomberg. Nope, okay, guess not. CNBC.
That brings me to your initiative, Law Zero. Can you tell us about it and the way you're trying to tackle the problem of hostile AI?
So we think that the current way AI is being trained leads to these problems naturally, because in the first phase of training, the AI is trained to imitate what people would do in the same circumstances, which means they incorporate a lot of human drives, which may sound fine, except that we don't want to build tools that don't want to be shut down, right? For example, or tools that are going to be lying to us for some reason or another. Okay, so what we are working on is how we can train these systems so that they will be completely honest, that they will not claim something even though they know
you don't want
it's
to be completely
not
honest.
true. And then when they're not sure, they would say, I don't know. So this would be...
As soon as they're completely
big
honest, they start getting racist.
They're just a few feet from the president, so whether he repeats some of his attacks to their face with them sitting right there will be notable, as well as lawmakers who are growing increasingly skeptical.
So, what's our predictions for the State of the Union tonight? I will be live covering it. What color tie is Trump going to wear? How many times is he going to mention Biden? Whose hands is he not going to shake? I'm guessing Supreme Court. Oh, it's going to be great. I can't wait.
Peter King, CBS News, Orlando.
Team USA partied like the gold medal champs they are in Miami. The beer and bubbly flowed freely at 11 nightclub, where the Olympic winners partied in red, white, and blue outfits accessorized with their new gold hardware. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
This is Bloomberg Intelligence with Scarlett Fu and Paul Sweeney.
How do you think the Fed is looking at tariffs, the uncertainty of tariffs?
Let's take a look at the sectors and how they performed.
A lot of investors getting whipsawed every day by news events.
Breaking market headlines and corporate news from across the globe.
Could we see a market disruption, a market event?
Are people just too exuberant out there?
You see some so-called low-quality stocks driving this short-term rally.
Bloomberg Intelligence with Scarlett Fu and Paul Sweeney on Bloomberg Radio, Originals and the Bloomberg Business app.
Good Tuesday morning from the Bloomberg Interactive Broker Studio in New York City to our worldwide audience. We're streaming live on YouTube, And we're streaming live on Bloomberg.com.
Hey, me
So
too.
check us out there. To Scarlett Fu and Paul Sweeney, this is the Bloomberg Intelligence Program. Coming up, we're going to check in with Dana Peterson, chief economist at the Conference Board. We did get some consumer confidence data. John Tucker's going to bring it to you in just a moment. Ed Ludlow, BTech co-anchor, talking about Meta spending billions of dollars on AMD gear and taking potential equity stake in AMD. Wow, that's a big deal. Julia Beal, chief
looks
market
like everybody
strategist,
went
portfolio manager, Kane
from
Anderson
NVIDIA
Rudd, to get her
to
thoughts on
AMD,
these
because
markets.
right around when this was happening,
It is State of the Union tonight. We're going to check in with
right when
Henrietta
this
Triz, managing partner at Veda Partners, get her thoughts on what President Trump may try to get across in his message this evening. And Michael Shaw, Bloomberg Intelligence senior pharma biotech analyst,
be here live
talks to us
tonight
about
for that
some more news on
State of the
Novo,
Union.
slashing
I'm
U.S.
gonna
list
cover it.
prices for Wegovy and Ozempic next year. So that's a good news for folks
RSI
on those
is
weight loss
looking
drugs. We got a lot coming
a little
up over the next
overheated
couple
on
hours. Let's
AMD.
kick it off with John Tucker and a Bloomberg Business Flash. John.
All right, guys. This report being brought to you by IBKR. In 2025, IBKR retail clients averaged a 19.2% return, beating the S&P 500 17.9%. The broker you choose matters. Visit ibkr.com/2025. Well, yeah, we're data dependent, so let's start there real quick. Consumer confidence from the Conference Board, pretty good. 91.2, the expectation 87.1, and we're going to break that down in just a moment. Most active stocks this morning, you mentioned it, Paul. Advanced Micro Devices right now up just about 7%. This deal's so circular, I'm getting dizzy, but Christine's going to break it down a little more just in a second here. Wednesday, NVIDIA reporting after the close of regular trading. Ahead of that, shares right now, they're down just about 0.5%. After yesterday's market sell-off, Amanda Agati at PNC Bank.
They're expected to beat
bargains.
earnings. So why
to the
this
extent
right
that we
here?
see a
I'm
little
not
bit
sure.
more of a slide here, I think it's a real
Comment if you
opportunity
have
for
a clue.
investors to pick up some exposures here on a relatively cheaper basis.
And when does it end? Warner Brothers Discovery considering a new takeover proposal from Paramount, Skydance. This morning, the S&P 500, 7 points higher, 68.46 on the index. The Dow up 244 points. NASDAQ 100 right now, 99 points higher. I'd be nervous, I think, to get in one of these. Waymo is going to start offering commercial robotaxi service in the three biggest cities in Texas. Rollout of rides, no safety driver, starts today in Houston, Dallas, San Antonio. And of course, they suffered a blow last week in New York when Governor
mixed bag today, guys.
Here said, outside of New York City, not just yet.
Russell 1000.
I ran over a cat in San Francisco, and that created a lot of
retail trade is looking fine.
Among the cats, people,
the neighborhood where the cat was a regular.
Tech sector's a mixed bag.
I like cats. Don't run them over. We check the markets for you all day long, right here on Bloomberg Radio. I'm John Tucker. That is your Bloomberg Business.
All right, what's CNBC saying?
And being used by different businesses across L&T.
Right. Could you also give us a sense of what are L&T's plans for data centers? You've been holding talks at the AI Summit with a number of players from around the world, including Vertiv. What are some of the steps that we will see from L&T with regard to data centers?
Whatever you have heard till now, we have...
It looks like everybody got at NVIDIA for AMD or Apple. Look at that. That's great for the day. So is Ford. Ford's killing it today. I mean, that's just a 50-cent jump, a 75-cent jump. So it's not really that big of a deal, but that's still good. If you bought any calls, you're sitting pretty. Same with IBM. If you bought any calls this morning. Not if you bought them yesterday. And Keurig Dr. Pepper. That's impressive. But, I mean, the clear winner of the day, Keysight Technologies, up 18%. Which they're just like an electronics company. Look at that. A whole lot of nothing, and then bang! Nobody's talking about them.
What gives you that optimism?
Well, one piece of the puzzle that's Trini kind of left out of the analysis is the potential benefits that we'll see as a result of AI. So certainly you're going to get jobs created as a result. That always happens in big productivity booms. So we are very likely to see
Apple.
some additional jobs that perhaps we can't envision today because we don't know what that will look like. But that is one important spin that perhaps the analysis is missing. And our sense is that the adoption curve will also be a lot slower than what's outlined in
If anybody has any tickers they want me to look up,
it will take not 2 years, but it will be a 5 to 10 year story, in which case it's much easier for the economy to rebalance if the adoption curve
I can pretty much tell you anything in crypto
than
is
just a
looking
couple of
like
years.
shit.
If it were to play out in 2 years, of course, it could be more disruptive. Although we did put out that note today,
Silver.
just outlining the potential positives.
Silver's going to have an
sure,
interesting
you could have
year.
a lot of
Pay close
disruption, and it
attention.
could result in, a rise in unemployment rate. But you also could end up in an environment where there's competition amongst firms and prices come down and real wages come up as a result. So it's not necessarily just a negative spin in this backdrop. It could end up proving to be a much more positive backdrop on the back of lower inflation and a more productive and better off economy.
I mean, Stephanie, what's interesting about all these discussions is, I guess, that we're even having them, right? Because we really, at the end of the day, we really don't know. It's more just sort of like, at this point, it's sort of an intellectual exercise that obviously has big stakes, but there is not a concrete way of knowing what the outcome's going to be. I guess the best we can hope for is that because we're all having these discussions,
and wasting time trying to fill
Just
their
for these
thing.
juicy companies, I think, but who's ever running this process for Warner Brothers Discovery, they're just not into the whole
Warner Brothers
test
Discovery.
fun with it.
Watch
you know?
out.
Very deliberate.
Exactly.
They're in for another
We're
merger.
going to still be talking about this 2027.
You know, but I think Netflix. If Netflix really wants it, they have a much better capital position.
Oh
too,
yes,
so
let's check out Netflix, shall we?
One more.
All right, let's talk about Eli Lilly. So ticker LLY. Those shares not doing too well this morning, down 1.2%. Though it was down a lot
What'd
earlier,
she say, LLY?
about 3%. So pairing some of those opening losses. And really the news comes from its rival, Novo Nordisk, saying that it will slash its U.S. list
That's a
prices
crazy-looking
for
chart.
Wegovy and Ozempic next year by as much as
RSI is looking
50%.
flat.
And so the read across for Lilly is initially negative. Though Citigroup analyst Jeff Meacham saying that the price reduction that could bring back price war concerns, but at the same time, the main beneficiaries of this are likely going to be people with high deductible plans or those who pay co-insurance, which really represents a relatively small proportion of new starts. But, bad for Lilly stocks today. Let's see what they're going to answer back with. All right, good stuff. Christina Aquino, thank you so much. She is our Bloomberg Managing Editor for Markets Live. And for more conversations like what you just heard, be sure to subscribe to our Stock Movers Reports, where we give you 5-minute audio reports on the biggest winners and losers in the stock market.
CNBC. CNBC going on commercial.
For just a moment, we can take a quick look at what prediction markets are pricing in for rate cuts this year. The highest odds pricing in 2 cuts for 2026. Obviously, that can change as the economic data changes, but you can check out more from Yahoo Finance's Prediction Markets Hub, powered by Polymarket, by scanning the QR code on your
Polymarket.
screen. Coming
They
up,
pissed
we're
me
going
off a while
deeper
back.
into the latest read on consumer confidence.
I can't remember what it was, but it tarnished my faith in them, that's for sure.
Confidence. And a lot of that was focused on people being a little less morose about the labor market currently, as well as expectations for business conditions 6 months forward, as well as the labor market and incomes.
So this data was taken
Bitcoin
before we had the
looking all
Supreme
right.
Court ruling, and then President Trump coming back with some more
Relatively
tariffs. To what extent historically have tariffs kind of impacted consumer confidence? What has your data shown?
Well, I can just look at the data over the last 12 months, and basically as soon as tariffs were announced or mentioned,
Implemented.
we saw consumer confidence start to fall. And over the last 12 to 13 months, we've seen a trend downward in confidence, again, because consumers do understand that tariffs can lead to inflation and higher prices for them.
I'm sorry,
Talk a little bit
Cashapp.
about the expectations
Cashapp's
and
trying
what
to charge me.
that
You
measure
can't.
really captures, because there's so much that's uncertainty,
Whoops.
including what we're just discussing, tariffs and how they, the legality of it, how it all plays out.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's like consumers didn't have the benefit of IEEPA being struck down. So at that point, when we did take the survey, consumers were still anticipating that the worst of the tariffs have not happened and that there's still going to be an uptick in inflation. And indeed, the inflation expectations measure was still very elevated in the month. Nonetheless, consumers just seem to be just a little bit more optimistic that in the future, 6 months, 12 months from now, things will be somewhat better, we'll be over the tariffs, and that will probably perhaps get back to some sort of normalcy.
Dana Peterson, thanks so much. We appreciate it. Dana Peterson, Chief Economist for the Conference Board, giving us some of the lowdown there. Again, the headline number, Conference Board consumer confidence came in at 91.2. The consensus was 87.1, so beat consensus. The revision from last period was a big revision upward to 89. So, again, a bump up from last period and better than expectations. But still, if you kind of eyeball the last 4 or 5 years, consumer confidence, that number needs to be like around 100.
I don't know what's going on with
plus.
Rumble. I don't know if you guys on Rumble can even see me, because I pull it up and I just see my old Bitcoin chart that I turned off.
Absolutely. It's really notable that if you chart it out, it doesn't look like, you know, we've made a lot of progress. And in fact,
plugged all the stuff in correctly, and I don't know why Rumble's doing it the way they're doing it. But
to what I was stating earlier, that every human on the planet wants to use AI. You can quickly extrapolate the amount of energy that you would need to run all of that AI, right? So there's two options. Either you just brute force and add a lot more energy, and that would mean essentially putting data centers in space, or you can use solutions that are a lot more energy efficient. And I think we are focused on the latter, is how do we take what we have and learn to do a lot more inference with lesser energy, doing more with less. I mean, that's a big mantra at D-Matrix, do more with less. So we are attacking the problem from a standpoint of like, let's take the energy we have and find a way to do a lot more inference compute in the energy envelope that we have. And of course, if data centers go into space and we need our chips to be deployed in space, we'll be happy to do that.
Okay.
But clearly we need to attack the...
Let's go to Yahoo Finance. See what they're saying. There goes another nickel. Every time these songs play, YouTube's like, yoink, they're going to take some of your cash. That.
Highlights of the India-US AI partnership.
Whatever.
Let's listen in.
To take a look at what states are trying to move forward on taking advantage of the promise on AI. And the policies kind of break up into two different categories. Some of them, states think about how AI can be an accelerant for the delivery of public services. How can you use AI to help improve healthcare delivery, energy services, things like that? The other group of states, of course, are thinking very much about how they can use policy to try to strengthen investments coming in. Domestic companies, foreign companies take advantage of data centers, AI applications, things like that. So the policies kind of break up into two camps. But not surprisingly, it tends to be the...
Let's see if Bloomberg say it. Oh, no, Bloomberg's got that song running. You can see what they've got.
Expressing here.
Yahoo.
Put it in context for us. How does this number track, and what was driving some of this improvement?
Good morning, Julie. So I would say that there was a little bit of a swing between, January and February numbers. But if you look at the broader trend, you see that February number is still below that we had at the end of 2025. And it's obviously much lower than the high levels we had at the end of 2024. So broadly speaking, the trend in consumer confidence is still to the downside, despite that swing between January and February numbers. But it's obviously good to see that there was some improvement on the labor market front.
And it's interesting also, and I guess that labor market piece is reflected in the present situation index, even though that went down a little bit, but the expectations index went up. How do we kind of read those two going in a little bit of opposite directions?
Rumble's in and out, man.
Again, there's a little bit of a volatility between months to month readings, but
let's go back to CNBC. All these talking heads are talking
like
about
artificial intelligence. Kind of a U.S.-led ecosystem, a China-led ecosystem, and much
like
our
AMD
defense
is holding
I think
on to its
are gonna have
gains.
to take a choice.
Looks
which
like
one they want to
NVIDIA is
become more
making
embedded
back
in.
its loss.
Now you look at India's economic integration with
Apple's
the rest of the world. It
smoking
tends to be
it
with the
today.
United States.
Ford's
in fact, a
smoking
lot of our
it
tech
today.
industries is driven by
IBM
Indian Americans
recovering
living
a little
and working in
bit,
the United
but
States.
unfortunately not
So
enough.
I think a group like Pax
Keurig Dr.
Silica,
Pepper.
India wants to be part of supply chains. They clearly have a lot more comfort working with the United States than they do with China.
Come on,
although
baby.
no country wants to have to make that choice.
Let's get,
so
like,
let's see how
way
successful we can
up
be
there.
offering
Let's double
incentives
right now
to make it a lure to be on our side of the divide. I think that's going to
Who's
take place.
holding a bag of Bitcoin? Anybody?
Moving on,
I
top
know I
executives at HCL Tech highlighted their AI agenda.
I bought in at
conversation
94.
with my colleague Aishwarya Anand. HCL Software's Kalyan Kumar states that data is the biggest inhibitor to enterprise AI scale. He adds that
But it's fine. It's all
across
state.
cloud, data and models will be key to scaling
Probably gonna
AI
leave it there for a couple of
responsibly.
years.
Meanwhile, HCL Tech's Sandeep Saxena says everyone is running pilots, but many are unable to scale because of concerns around security and privacy. And once those issues are addressed, enterprises feel far more secure and confident about moving ahead. Listen in.
Kalyan sir, the first question that I want to understand from you is that everyone's running AI pilots, but few are scaling to production. So what do you think are the gaps on that front, and how does HCL's XDO blueprint help solve for that?
See, if you should look at AI in 4 buckets. Consumer AI, I think it's working, it's fine. All of us, you, me, everyone is using, but we are the product. We are making it work. Enterprise AI, I think the biggest inhibitor is data. Data prep for AI, which is how do you do data intelligence, metadata, understanding of data, data catalogs, data lineage. That's the single biggest inhibitor in the XDO blueprint, as you called out. Experience, data, and operations. The number one thing which is important to fix is data. That will either improve experience or help you drive better operations.
Okay, all right. Now, what's the difference between consuming AI and operating AI as a strategic capability, and why does that distinction matter for Indian enterprises?
See, if you look at even the Minister of IT, Vaishnavji talked about the 5 layers of the stack.
Rumble.
I think what's going to happen is some of the layers of the stack will become commoditized.
Rumble caused my
It's like
tablet.
power, utility. So language models at some point in time will become like real utilities.
I love Rumble.
And there's a lot of good work happening with companies
But
like
they kinda suck.
Bharatjan is driving a lot of those pieces. So Sarvam, a lot of other
Performance-wise.
localization of language models is going to build you that play. The real value is going to be on 3.
By the adoption of artificial intelligence. There's this new academic study led by Harvard Business School. It finds that much of what active fund managers do follows patterns machines can learn. I see hate mail coming in from this. So using a machine learning algorithm called a neural network, the system could predict about 71%.
My CPU is a neural net processor,
whether
a learning computer.
Or hold a given
You noticed the news is using a lot of terms that we've seen in the movies that predict bad shit from AI.
I know.
Look at
check the
Bitcoin.
markets for you.
Come on,
all day
baby.
long, right here on Bloomberg Radio.
Come on,
John
run up
Tucker,
to 200,000
Business Flash.
right now.
Machines think we're predictable.
Wouldn't that
Yes,
be nice?
Probably we are, probably. We'll see. It's coming for everything. That's what it seems like at this stage. John Tucker,
Feeling
thanks
good
so
this
much.
morning.
Yes, exactly. John Tucker, thanks for that. We got Scarlet Fu, Paul Sweeney live
the last
here in
hour.
Bloomberg Interactive Broker Studio, streaming
Heat
live
map
on
looks
YouTube
very
and
different.
at Bloomberg.com.
4
Another
hours.
big noise.
24 hours, not
news
so
story
much.
coming out of the
We'll
technology
keep it at 4
space.
hours just
Meta will
because
buy
it's nicer.
AMD chips and computers designed to run artificial intelligence models over a 5-year stretch beginning in the second half of 2026. And this is a kicker for me. And will receive warrants to buy 160 million AMD shares. Pretty cool. Let's get the latest reporting there. Ed Ludlow, a B-Tech co-host. He's out there in San Francisco. Ed, another big deal, another
Come on,
two
baby.
mega
Just keep
companies
on
here,
running.
Doing some
Sure
big business
would
together.
be
What do you make
nice.
of it?
Yeah, I mean, it's very large scale. 6 gigawatts of capacity is equivalent to the output of 6 nuclear reactors. It's enough power for several million
gigawatts!
homes. The average size of a data center is about 300 to 500 megawatts.
Yeah,
So it is a
get it up to
sort of
88 miles an
multi-year
hour, and then
massive
we'll talk.
commitment. And you know, the market has faded a little bit in terms of AMD share reaction, but it's quite a big bet
It's
by
holding.
Meta that the AMD's technology, in particular its AI accelerators, the chips,
And
they'll be
NVIDIA
used to
has
run
pretty much
models and what
completely
we call
recovered its
inference
loss from this
are
morning.
effective.
That was
But the warrants
somebody,
bit, I agree, very
a big
interesting.
shareholder
Like,
who
is it, or is
dumped,
it not circular
who probably
financing?
went straight to
I'm
AMD.
always up to debate it.
And of course,
Or
we
Apple.
know that Meta announced
Or
a
Ford.
tie-up with NVIDIA
Or Keurig
just
Dr.
last
Pepper.
week. So
These are the
this is
winners of
about
the day.
Meta also
IBM is recovering a
diversifying,
slight bit, but if
its
you bought in
partners
yesterday,
in this
you're
build-out.
not having
How
such a
much
great time.
do we know, or is
Bitcoin.
Can we guess that Meta is spending
Keep it
on
going,
this
baby.
partnership on this transaction?
Well, on this AMD one, the way that Lisa Su and AMD put it is that it's double-digit billions per gigawatt. So it's tens of billions of dollars over the 5 years. Remember, AMD is a distant number 2 player with respect. You know,
Silver on a tear.
All of its revenues are about $10 billion a quarter, which includes the data center part.
I wish some of this shit would wait until I get my tax money so I can, donate some more to Wall Street.
But yeah,
because they're hurting. Wall Street needs your donation.
And on the Meta side, right? Mark Zuckerberg said it next to the president. He's committing to spending about $600 billion over the next 5 years or more. And he's always said that if they misspend, quote, $200 billion here or there, the risk of not spending that money is greater for them. Wow. So the stock's down half a percentage point right now. But yeah, most people, this is consistent with what we'd expect from Meta.
Usually in the mornings, right?
Well, that's not coming up to speed in all things AI and the lingo that's used in that industry.
That's the mornings.
When Meta agrees to buy AMD chips, computers, okay,
biggest
I
moves
get
are
that.
in the morning.
Where does the whole concept of
AMD holding on to its gains?
And power,
NVIDIA
how does that work?
Fully recovered from its loss.
That's a really smart question. Basically, data is transferred.
I need NVIDIA to run up to about $280.
There's work in more nascent fields of transferring data via photons.
That price prediction that was made
inside the server. That's how data passes through electrons. There is a heavy electricity draw to power the whole system, not just to run the GPUs and run the computations, but also everything involved in cooling and heat dissipation. We're talking about electricity, and that's why it's measured such. Go back to Scarlett's earlier question. This is 6 gigawatts. Just between Meta and AMD, but Meta has plans to install tens of gigawatts by the end of this decade.
Yep, let's go to CNBC.
About opening up our minds, adapting to the change, and doing that continuous learning cycle, which will give us that trust over a period of time. So
let's go back to Yahoo. None of these people are talking about anything worthwhile.
Well done, Ed Ludlow. He is our go-to guy for all things AI. He is the co-host of B-Tech, which airs every day at 11 a.m. on Bloomberg Television.
Apple.
Be sure to check out him
Bitcoin,
and Caroline
baby.
Hyde
Come on, keep on going.
All right, let's go over and get the broad market implications of a deal like this and the outlook for markets overall with Julie Beal. She is the chief market strategist and a portfolio manager at Kane Anderson.
All right, we are 1 hour into the market.
Santa Monica, California, where it has not been snowing for it feels like months on end, like it has been here. Julie, great to speak with you. You had just heard our conversation with Ed about Meta spending billions of dollars, tens of billions on AMD chips and this step towards buying warrants in AMD as well. Is this a sign of confidence, a boost of confidence to the market as everyone kind of recovers from the AI scare?
I think that more circular financing is not necessarily the thing that's going to give people a lot of confidence. I think what would give people more confidence is feeling like the adoption that's happening in enterprise is going well, that the projects are really starting to gain momentum.
Give me my cash.
They're using AI tools really fluently. I think that's actually what's needed because the place where people are having the most
if you like money like I do,
return on investment that
then
people are going to be experiencing as a result of this. And it depends by AI
yeah,
company,
I forgot where I was going with that.
Meta has a much easier time justifying some of this investment because the AI is
Can't
making
believe
their
you
ad
like
business
money.
so much stronger, so much more compelling. But for other players, it's not as clear that the economics are going to be so good.
I see NBC. What do you
know, his first time around as governor, he was brought to the floor by Senator Schumer. At the time, it was a long time ago. But why is this somewhat? Do you not think he's qualified?
Well, my concern is that
Schumer?
Kevin Warsh has made his whole career
Schumer's
being
been
an inflation
in Congress
hawk.
for decades.
He is the guy who, even after the crash in 2008, was no, don't lower interest rates. We got to keep those interest rates high. If you said, Kevin Warsh, what would you say about interest rates? High interest rates. That's what he believes in. Right up until he thinks he's got a shot at...
You need to shut up. I hate that bitch.
Replace people
but nevertheless, that's where people's heads are going. I want to go to the Wi-Fi Interactive and just show you our software heat map. We've got a ton of companies affected by this.
Why don't
And
we check out our
looks like
heat
I'm on
map?
the wrong one there.
For
So
the
sorry,
last
you can
hour,
key out of that.
the market is
but
flat.
Let me just give you some of the
Flat.
tickers
Look
here.
at that.
We have
Jesus, in 1
under
hour.
Human resources.
Since the
ADP,
market has been open.
PHEMEX,
Are you kidding
and
me?
A bunch of others. And
Everything's
I think
that
I'm
flat?
Almost right there.
0% change across the board?
We can go back to the Wi-Fi Interactive. Sorry about that little diversion there. What you're going to notice is everything
4
is
hour,
green here, and
market's only been
yesterday,
open for 1
everything
hour.
was red, and in fact, if I put a year to date, you're going to see a lot of red on the screen. This is a scary screen for a lot of these companies and a lot of the C-suite that run them. But I think today's reaction did not pour fuel
4 hour
onto
crypto
that
heat
fire.
map's looking
And
pretty
so
damn
all these,
good.
Companies like ADP, Paychex,
just
Workday,
needs to keep
Dayforce,
going.
SAP,
Because
and then
the
the
24
design
hour
ones from
looks
Adobe
like
to
hell.
Autodesk to Unity,
Ouch.
and then the work surface adjacent firms of Microsoft, Salesforce, Google, DocuSign, all these are in the green right now. And it also could be disrupting the banking shares.
That's
and
more
I
like
will
it.
say, if I can get to the banking,
Change in 1 hour,
one,
be flat.
Financials
Come on.
were the worst performing
Must have had a
group,
lag
as I
in the
recall
data.
yeah, so if we go, we can see on the screen a bunch of red, but banks were down yesterday on very dissimilar news, and I think banks, just because they've been one of the worst performing sectors year to date, if not the worst, are just
AMD,
having a hard go of it. So I don't necessarily tie it to
NVIDIA
this
back
particular
on top.
announcement. But I'm very
Well,
encouraged by the fact
quite
that the
the top.
software space does not look like it's taking another
Apple
10%
doing well,
leg
Ford
down.
doing
Right.
well.
I mean,
IBM
when you look
recovering
at
a little.
the
Looks like a
companies
little
that
bear
were
flag going here.
So in
Or
recent
bull flag,
days,
excuse
a
me.
company could be mentioned in something like the Citrini report,
Meta.
and the stock would go down. But on the flip side, Anthropic. Here are some of the companies that Anthropic is calling out. You mentioned
Anthropic.
DocuSign, Spotify, Adobe, Figma, Accenture,
Let's check out
LegalZoom,
Anthropic.
Thomson Reuters, FactSet, I think was mentioned. A company called
never pulled them
Intap.
up before. I
so
think that's them.
all of these were mentioned at
No
the event
data.
that Anthropic is having today as partners on this professional services agentic AI, and all the
Okay, I
stocks
guess I
are
don't know what
higher.
I'm doing there.
So this is the flip side of the fear,
Yes.
I guess, is that
Yes.
these guys are going to play
Come
ball
on,
and
Bitcoin, run.
them.
Yeah,
Keep
nice
it going,
perspective there.
baby.
We'll see if it does. All right, let's talk about something that I don't think can be disrupted by AI as much.
Sure would be nice if it
Maybe
get
I'm
above
wrong.
this
And
664
coffee. Keurig Dr.
resistance.
Pepper shares are higher after
'Cause,
that
I mean,
company
then,
reported earnings
you know,
that beat
it'd be
expectations.
65.
The beverage company also
There's
issued
gonna be a
an upbeat
resistance,
sales forecast for the year,
what do
driven
you
by
call it,
resilient demand for its
psychological
popular
resistance at
soft
every
drinks like 7-Up
$500 mark,
and
basically.
Dr. Pepper Zero. I didn't even
Yeah.
know there was a Dr. Pepper
It's
Zero.
about time,
although I
though.
guess I'm not surprised.
There's Diet Dr. Pepper.
Right.
So, let's get to
We're
the
still
actual
talking about
results
Dr.
here.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, because stock is popping here, and this is a company where they're in this tie-up with Pete's, and I think this is supposed to close very soon. It looks like they've cleared the regulatory hurdles, and so some of those numbers are baked into the guidance. But it was a Q4 beat on adjusted EPS, 60 cents versus 59 cents. Not a huge deal there. Revenue 4.5 billion versus 4.36 billion. Beverages looking strong, up 11.5% year over year. Coffee sales up almost 4% year over year.
Coffee will never slow down. The price of coffee goes up, people will still buy it. Coffee will always do well. Stop acting surprised.
You were overly critical?
No, I do think he's dangerous. I think it is dangerous.
I think you're stupid.
The service stocks, they really took it on the chin there. Julie Beal, thanks so much for joining us. Julie Beal is the Chief Market Strategist and a Portfolio Manager at Kane Anderson Rudnick, joining us from Santa Monica, California. 78 and sunny is the forecast for today. That's why my number
Oh,
3
Bitcoin.
offspring, who lives in Los Angeles,
Bitcoin is looking so
I
good
would neither.
Yeah, so it's like
today.
You want to see
Especially
me come
after
out?
this week.
I'm venturing out there this
So
weekend. You got to go
far.
see them where they are. Catch our new show, Bloomberg This Week, and David Gurr, Christina
What I'm
Ruffini,
really
and
hoping,
Lisa
what I'm really hoping, I really hope that tonight at the State of Union address, I hope that Trump talks about nothing but crypto. That would be good for my wallet, because this draw I bought in the 90s somewhere. So my crypto portfolio is down 26, 27%, a healthy chunk. So it's not a loss until it's realized, right? So I ain't touching it until it comes back. And it will. Crypto always recovers, and it always will. Short of a global EMP, crypto is here to stay. That looks like a Loch Ness monster. Looks like a preparation for another bounce. As long as it doesn't come below this right here, it probably will continue going up. That seems to be how it always fucking goes. I mean, there is no certainty in any of this. And remember, there is no such thing as a crypto expert. Silver. Looks like it was struggling to get above that 88. Shit, man, a couple of days ago it was struggling to get above 80, wasn't it? I think. Looks like the 4-hour heat map on crypto is looking good. The 1 hour is looking, well, duh. But the 24 hour is still sucking it. So if it can maintain some gains for a whole day, then this should look more like this. It's a mixed bag today. I'm seeing a lot of red in the finance sector. Berkshire Hathaway. How many shares of Berkshire Hathaway do you own? This is some funny shit. Berkshire Hathaway. Where are you at? Let's go ahead and pull them up just for shits and giggles. I think that's it. Yeah, no, that's not the one I was looking for. That's not either. Where are you at? I don't know which one it is that I'm looking for. Whatever. It's the one that's $747,000 per share. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Let's go back to Bloomberg. Nope, let's not.
CNBC Plus.
Co-presenting partner, HDFC.
God, they run so many commercials. Yahoo. These damn songs. YouTube loves to come back at me and say, you're going to share profit with these jerks for these songs. The creators of those songs. They're already making it on Bloomberg. So since I'm casting Bloomberg, they're going to make it for me too. I mean, it's pennies, but...
with an Indian lens.
For leaders who want to look past the headlines, this is where strategy becomes action.
Because this same stream, they're going to be making whoever else is casting it too.
To India.
Introducing a brand new global business news channel. Your
YouTube's pay points are very interesting. It is so complicated too.
Tune in to CNBC TV 18.
All right, Bitcoin, you need to...
now offering a $1 million reward.
Another 5 minutes or so if you ain't going back up.
Today's show anchor Savannah Guthrie announced the increased reward today, 24 days after her mother disappeared from her Tucson home. Authorities have not identified a suspect in the case, but the FBI released doorbell camera images and videos of an armed and masked man outside of her home.
Unrealized return, $1.40, baby.
Parents of 9 campers and counselors who died in the flooding at Camp Mystic in Texas
I'm pretty sure the fee is $1.50.
are now suing the state. They claim Texas health officials licensed the camp despite its failure to maintain a written evacuation plan, which is required under Texas law.
Ma'am.
Qualcomm, and Domino's Pizza. First up, let's take a look at Blue Owl. Deutsche Bank downgraded the stock to hold and set a new
I just read a story on
them. Of $10
Very
per share.
interesting
That's down
indeed.
From its previous target of $15. The average 12-month price target on the street is $17. But the analysts at over at Deutsche Bank said it reflects the moderately more challenging environment for net
Come on back up,
into
Bitcoin.
retail private credit products.
Come on
there
back
are now
up.
13 buys, 4 holds, and no sells on the
Come on, baby.
round. Next
Come
up,
on,
let's
let's
take a
go.
look at
Give me
Qualcomm.
my
The company
cash.
got 2
Give me my
upgrades.
cash.
Wells Fargo raised its rating to equal weight.
Get excited.
Loop
I get
Capital
real
raised
excited
its
when I see
rating to a
Bitcoin
buy.
running.
The analysts over there said the recent underperformance
I don't know
was
why.
fueled by a
Because
perfect
unless
storm
it
of
hits
circumstances
95, I'm
that
still in the
won't
red.
last forever as the smartphone
I
market
am a bag holder.
recover. The stock is down
Help!
15% year to date. The street, though, somewhat mixed on this one. With
Yeah, it
21
could get
buys,
worse
24
before it gets
holds,
better in the
and
long
1
run.
sell rating. Last up, let's take a look at Domino's Pizza because
There's
JP
some people
Morgan
saying
looks like
that
it's
they
hungry for
expect
more.
Bitcoin to
The
go
firm
down
said
to
two
like
factors that
40,000.
make it
I don't know about all that, but you know, anything's possible. Like I keep saying, there's no such thing as a crypto expert. The technology has not been around long enough. You know, what do they say? 10,000 hours in anything and you're an expert in it? Looks like silver's taking over the day. Still a little bit of a dip. It needs to clear this right here. This looks like a point of contention for silver. The $88 mark-ish. About 88.15, 88.09, 88.10, yeah, something like that. So until it breaks free of 88 and a quarter, it's going to dick around right here. That is a bull flag from hell. That's a bull flag. That's nothing really. I don't know what the hell that is. No. If it comes down below here, it's going to continue coming down, most likely, and then it'll probably bounce off of this. But if it stops right here and starts going back up, well, then maybe that'll make me happy. The RSI is slowing down. Looks like the current RSI is still at about 60. That's still good for up, but it needs to stay above. See, it's below 60, just slightly. So that's going to make it come down just a little slower. But the further down this goes, the faster it'll go down. That RSI needs to get up above 60, and we're good. As long as it doesn't go, yeah, see, it went above 70. As soon as it goes above 70, well, not as soon as it goes above 70, but around when you'll see some garbage down here on other people's charts. With all of mine that I stream, it is always RSI. Because it's just one of the best indicators out there. Down here. There are other indicators you can plug up here, but down here, a lot of times you just see wave charts, volume charts, shit like that. I don't give a damn about the volume. I can look at that on the side. The RSI, Relative Strength Index, is one of the best indicators. It really is. Like right now, I would short the hell out of this once it comes below here. But you see, the wick bounced right off of it. What are we going to do? What is Yahoo doing?
Drop, given that, you know.
The American consumer sees is, hey, we're the one paying the taxes. They're illegal. The Supreme Court just struck them down. We hate them. 72% of independent American voters do not like the tariffs. And the president...
Yeah, where'd you get those figures? Of that 72%, how many of those people actually understand how tariffs work? They just hear, me pay money, bad. That's it. So, get out of here with that statistic. Because you're getting that information pretty much from idiots. Oh, not idiots, but ignorant people. This is the majority of people don't understand anything about tariffs.
CNBC TV 18 Prime.
That trade, tune into our Market Navigator segment later on today on Power Lunch for more, 2 p.m. Eastern Time.
I'm about to go have another smoke break because, you know, there's so much action in here.
A little more privacy.
I shall return, baby.
Comfort. Business class on the new Emirates A350.
Good morning, folks. I'm Martin Sung. Let's get a look at your headlines at this hour.
U.S. has the godfather of AI and his black leather jacket, Jensen. China has rare earth. It's time to make a deal.
I'm less concerned about building a mythology.
I think at the end of the day, common sense will prevail.
OpenAI valuation, $500 billion US.
$500 billion happens to be how much Elon Musk apparently is worth right now.
Co-presenting partner, HDFC Securities, powering India's investments.
Fast Money is America's post-game show.
Basically near all-time highs against the S&P.
Every single story that we pick is a tie back to the markets.
Those sort of revenue streams don't trade at a great multiple.
We want to arm people with the information to make great decisions.
Stock got whacked. I get it. People say they overpaid. I get that.
Fast Money is all about the chemistry. We've been successful for this long because we're a team.
Fast Money, CNBC, streaming on CNBC Plus.
Co-presenting partner, HDFC Securities, powering India's investments.
Not disruptive. And the other analogy he gave me, which really spoke to me, was you can vibe code iOS, but that doesn't necessarily make the iPhone less valuable because of the integration of that hardware and software and just the complexity around that and everything that goes into it, the camera, not just software, and that's not going to necessarily affect the iPhone. So that would be their argument. Does that have validity to you?
Sarah, there's certainly millions of lines of COBOL code yet to be converted. IBM will have a role in that, but now a number of companies will also do it themselves. So in general, it is a pressure downward on pricing for that service of COBOL conversion.
Sure, but not like a destroyer of mainframe computer business.
It's not devastation, yeah, but it is a downward pressure. And I think the market right now is very spooked. They sell first, ask questions later in this area of enterprise services. But I think we're missing the big point. 3 weeks ago on this channel, we were talking about, is AI a bubble? And now it turns out AI is the destroyer and the rest of the economy is the bubble. So I just want to note that it's a fun switcheroo that we're seeing here.
Not so fun.
Yeah, well, you can't write. Either you're investing all this money in data centers and the chips that go into them as a result of all the things you're going to get on one hand, or that's not going to work, and then you don't have to worry about the software companies getting disintermediated. But Jack, I want to come back. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, David.
Well, I do want to come back to you just on the overall view that you've expressed, and many have, who are optimistic about how this technology is going to impact our society. Always pointing out that in past technological revolutions, more jobs have been created. But we have never seen a technology that can replicate and then exceed human intelligence. And so I really do come back to the idea that none of us have any real idea, do we, of what's going to happen?
Well, here's what's going to happen, I think, in part. None of us know the full crystal ball, David. I agree with you. But number one, agents, as we talked about last time, will absolutely rise up and will displace and put downward pressure on intermediaries. DoorDash, other kinds of services that today gain huge rent fees tolls essentially on connecting people will have downward pressure because agentic AI will absolutely rise up. What that means is that new jobs will be created for those who can create agentic platforms. And so it's never that you can keep the old jobs and you get the new jobs. You've got to actually have new skills, new platforms. The success of OpenClaw is another testament to agentic AI rising up. So my advice to companies, legacy companies, is
looks like Bitcoin's doing okay for the day. 4%. Adobe, 4%. DoorDash. I can't believe so many people pay the ridiculous prices of DoorDash and Uber Eats and all that. Like, it's literally almost 3 times as much to order DoorDash and Uber Eats than it is to just go. But I admit I have used them before. But I only use them when I got a deal. Like when they got a coupon or something. That coupled with when I'm flush with cash. That does make a difference. Nvidia making a strong recovery from this morning. Because right at the market open, it looks like people sold out of Nvidia and went straight to AMD. Apple, having a kick-ass day. Keurig Dr. Pepper, same. Bitcoin, come on. Let's go. Let's run up to 1 million. Yeah, I'm still convinced we're still in a bear market for crypto. Whatever this is, I believe it'll be short-lived. And it looks like the RSI was starting to slow down a little bit and then tipped up and then started to slow down again. If you're unfamiliar with RSI, you should learn what it is. And you should always have it up on your charts. One of the best indicators. Look at that spike right there. But you see it came down. That is running way too hot. And bang, came right down. When it gets up into the 70s and 80s, you can expect a crash. But then it crashed down to right in the mid-60s, 65. So that is a signal for it to go back up. And it touched 70 and said, nope. RSI is a beautiful indicator. Heat map for the last hour. Starting to look flat for the day. Overall, looks pretty green. Crypto heat map in the last 4 hours looking great. Last 1 hour even better. 24 hours, ouch. Biggest winner in crypto, social good. Look at all these sub-penny crypto coins. You can never tell what's going to run. Yeah, it's up 100%. It's a sell, no kidding. What is the highest tech rating, I wonder? Solstice, Espresso, Athena Labs. Never heard of any of these. There's a lot of companies that are going and creating their tokenized stocks. Apple being one of them. I mean, there's a lot of tokenized stocks. They're starting to get in on it. You know, back in the day, when Bitcoin first came around, you can bet your bottom dollar that every bank out there, every central bank out there, wanted this technology to die. But, you know, if you can't beat them, join them. And what's going on today in finance? Mass adoption. Widespread mainstream adoption. So they couldn't beat them. So they're joining them. But if old Satoshi Nakamoto is still alive, if he is, he's definitely in hiding. But I'm pretty sure somebody got to him. Because nobody's going to leave the wallet that he's left behind untouched. That's my theory, at least. AMD still looking strong. Nvidia making a great recovery. Apple looking great. Keurig Dr. Pepper. Yeah, here we go. Come on, Bitcoin. Make me a couple of dollars on my longs. I had two Ethereum longs. I only got Ethereum longs because they're cheaper and it follows Bitcoin. So what's Bloomberg saying?
Prefers that bound. In reality, it comes down to essentially cost and whatever the patient can access, either through what they can afford or their insurance plan.
Mike, I know you guys, since the beginning of all this, have kind of scoped out the size of the market here, and the numbers are just huge. What does the introduction of an oral dosage mean for maybe growing a number of patients that may be...
Let's see what CNBC says.
4-day matching rates even exercised so it could preserve them. The next match period is 2 days. Not that that matters that much.
But this is far from over.
It's not over yet.
Like,
that
it's
is for
wide
sure.
open, but when we don't know how much they sweeten the.
We don't.
the
I don't know. I'm not going to get. I'm not going to. Unless I knew it 100%, I'm not going to report it. So.
But do we think it's enough?
That's the question.
They do. Paramount, you said, feels good.
They feel more optimistic. They don't necessarily feel.
Paramount out here buying everything up. Nope. I won't have these songs playing. Back to Bloomberg.
Both formulations are going to be utilized.
Come on, Bitcoin.
What's the next real, I guess, big move here in this part of the market? I mean, I think getting the oral dosage is big. What's the next big thing? Is it just improving it? Maybe lowering the side effects? What are you looking for next?
Yeah, so I mean, when we look at
Bloomberg, I don't want any songs playing. I'm taking my pennies. Well, you know what? I think this one already got it. I don't know what's going on with Rumble. Stop and start it back. See what happens. Rumble just being stupid. I want. For me, at least. I don't know if anybody can see it. Yahoo and Bloomberg use the same songs.
Focus on the next wave of
I think at the end of the day, common sense will prevail.
OpenAI valuation, $500 billion US.
$500 billion happens to be how much Elon Musk apparently is worth right now.
Co-presenting partner, HDF.
All right, well, we have no viewers here on YouTube. Looks like there's 4 people watching on Rumble. At any rate, I am going to go. I will be back for Trump's State of the Union tonight at 9 o'clock. Y'all be here. I'm going to put the Bitcoin chart back up on the other laptop here. So that being said, y'all have yourselves a good day. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you'd like to donate, you know how to do it. All donations would be greatly appreciated. In fact, it'll go to who I'm staying with. I blew her internet out. She had an internet limit, or a bandwidth limit, and I destroyed it with streaming. So I owe her $100. And I have not made $100 on YouTube, so not exactly a